Have you ever thought about what pure compassion would look like if it could just take on any form it wanted? Well, today we're diving into a really profound story from the Sutra of Marvelous Mind that explores exactly that. It's all about the incredible, shape-shifting nature of Guanyin Bodhisattva, and it shows us that help can show up in the most unexpected ways imaginable. All right, so let's set the scene. Our story kicks off at a super famous place, Vulture Peak. The Buddha is about to give a teaching, but this is no ordinary seminar. I mean, forget thinking about a packed room. The audience here is something else entirely on a truly cosmic scale. And when I say cosmic, I really, really mean it. We're talking about an audience of 80,000 monks and another 80,000 bodhisattvas. You've got celestial kings from the highest heavens, you've got dragon kings from the depths of the ocean, you've got human kings, and then just countless other divine and non-human beings from every realm you can think of. Literally everyone showed up to hear what the Buddha had to say. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of just launching into a sermon right there, the Buddha does something nobody saw coming. He gets this entire massive assembly up and leads them on a journey, flying thousands of miles to the east. You can just imagine everyone thinking, wait, what? Why are we doing this? What could possibly be so important that it required a cosmic field trip of this magnitude? So where do they all end up? In a distant land the sutra calls Zendan, and it's here, on this incredible mountain made of 5 treasures, that the Buddha starts to unravel a local mystery. He tells them the story of 3 ancient, powerful, and kind of strange sage kings who once ruled this very land. And these weren't just your average kings, right? They were incredibly specific in what they did. The first one, who had the body of a dragon, taught the people all about the cosmos, the laws of heaven, and how the universe works. The second king, this one with the head of an ox, he focused his teachings on the earth itself, things like farming, medicine, and healing herbs. And then the third one appeared in a totally human form to teach the very foundations of how we live together: ethics, relationships, the stuff of the human heart. So these 3 kings basically built the civilization in this land from the ground up. They were absolute legends. But the Buddha is about to reveal that there's way more to their story than anyone realizes. He's about to pull back the curtain and show this entire assembly who these 3 figures really were. So that's the big question, isn't it? Who were these incredible rulers who appeared in these wild forms? Were they gods? Were they ancient sages? Or were they something else entirely? And the Buddha's answer is it's a game changer. He explains that these kings were what's called manifestation bodies. They were, in fact, compassionate forms projected by none other than Guanyin Bodhisattva. And that is the absolute core of this teaching. Compassion isn't some rigid, one-size-fits-all idea. It takes on the exact form needed to help and teach beings in a way they can actually understand. The sutra just lays it out so plainly right here. It spells out the motivation behind the whole thing. This wasn't about power or being a king or ruling over people. It was a direct, beautiful expression of Guanyin's deep. And check out how elegantly this all connects. The dragon-bodied king who taught about the heavens, he was the Lord of Spring. The ox-headed king who taught about all the good things from the earth, he was the Lord of Summer. And the human-formed king who taught about society, he was the Lord of Earth itself. 3 different forms, 3 different domains, all flowing from one single source of compassion. But hold on, the Buddha's lesson isn't over yet. He leads the assembly even further east, across a huge sea, to another land called Da Ri Fa, which means the land of the great sunrise. And he does this to give them a second, equally mind-blowing example. And this is where you really see the incredible versatility of Guanyin's compassion. In that first land, the goal was to teach a society that was already there, so the manifestations were male rulers. But in this new land, the job was much, much bigger, to create an entire world from scratch. And for a job like that, you need a different kind of form. So get this creation story. First, Guanyin manifests as a powerful Brahma king, like a cosmic architect who sets the whole creation in motion. Then Guanyin appears again, but this time as a divine goddess, a heavenly maiden, who literally becomes the sun and the moon to light up and govern this new world. I mean, from a teacher to a creator, the form completely changes, but that compassionate intention, it stays exactly the same. Okay, so after showing these 2 unbelievable examples of compassionate action playing out across time and space, the Buddha wraps it all up with a prophecy. And it's a vow that really reveals the timeless, enduring nature of Guanyin's promise to every single living being. This is a truly staggering statement. Seriously, just let that sink in for a moment. The Buddha says that way, way in the future, when our connections to the teachings of other Buddhas might fade away, one compassionate presence will still be there, always active, always helping. And that presence is Guanyin. So, why does all this matter to us? What's the big takeaway? Well, the story of these manifestations isn't just some old myth. It's this powerful message that compassion is an active, creative, and totally enduring force in the universe. It's a promise that help is always available, especially when things get tough, and that it will show up in whatever form is needed to reach us. And this kind of brings us to a final thought for our own lives, doesn't it? I mean, if compassion could manifest as kings to teach ethics and as a goddess to create a world, what forms might it be taking today? It's probably not a dragon-bodied ruler, right? But maybe it's a scientist, a caregiver, an artist, or even just a good neighbor. This sutra invites us to look a little closer at the world and to maybe start seeing the many, many faces of compassion that are all around us. Thanks so much for joining me.